Henry Kobna Kokofu, former member of parliament for Bantama. He's also a legal practitioner, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Okay. And also George Lowe. He's also a legal practitioner, former member of parliament for North Dine. Good morning, George.
Good morning, Roland.
Okay, great. Now, let's discuss issues about... We're told that a Nigerian millionaire kidnapper has been grabbed. And this morning we played a couple of inserts of the Nigerian IGP who came to Ghana and warned that we should be wary of such. And he even had a Ghanaian passport, so he called him a Nigerian Ghanaian. What do you make of the seeming state of infiltration of our security and our security systems, not only Ghana but also the sub-region, I mean, as a whole?
Good morning, Roland, and good morning to our cherished viewers. And of course, my good brother, I haven't seen in a while. Great morning. Roland, you see, when you hear things like this and people are all worried and talking about, I get amused.
We shouldn't be worried.
Reason being that this has been with us for such a long time.
Oh, George.
Even me, at my level, have known consistently that most of the Nigerian business people who come in and out of here hold Ghanaian passports. And it's in vogue in Nigeria to have a Ghanaian passport anyway. I don't remember if I told you the story that in 2000, when I was invited to Nigeria to give a leadership talk on youth development, in the year 2000, I remember sleeping in my hotel room, and at dawn, some Nigerian delegates came to me and wanted to know how they will get a Ghanaian passport. In the year 2000. So 17 years down the line, you can imagine
the volume of people.
The volume of people. That is one. Two. Look, in this country, we talk and continue talking, and we deliver nothing in terms of security, in terms of policy, in terms of everything. And it's mind-boggling. Why am I saying that? Well, you and I, even as just ordinary Ghanaian citizens, let's take pen and paper and go around East Legon, and go around Domi, Kwabenya, and other Sakumono, and see the number of properties that are owned by Nigerians
and not
Ghanaians. As to how they come to Ghana and buy property, though you are not too sure about whether they are paying tax, whether they are paying property road, how they transfer, all sorts of things. And like I assure you,
because you can't have a bank account.
I'm saying that I can assure you that half of the challenges we have with our currency issues is because the Nigerians come here and trade in hard currency and fly the money away. All their top business, I mean, as a member of parliament, I get scandalized sometimes when you are sitting in VIP waiting for a flight to go on one assignment or the other, and you see Nigerians coming with chartered flights, and I mean, it's mind-boggling. I have always said that in trying to play up with the global phenomenon, not only did we open our door or window, we removed the doors with the hinges. And so every joker walks in here once they have some dollars to spend. Bingo, they are here. The Chinese are here in their numbers. They've taken over our petty trading, and we are only shouting. You go to Makola, you go to Okanshi, and majority of the shops there are owned by Chinese. The trade that was reserved for Ghanaians, Chinese and Nigerians and other people from the South region, Ivorians, have taken it over. And so for me, this one doesn't, surprise me in any way. Rather than think politics, these are some of the things that we should be thinking about. And these are solutions to these problems will make us a stronger nation. It will make our economy stronger, and it will help us develop. It will create jobs. But it looks like we are fixated on politics. So we wake up in the morning and we are fixated on the fact that some youth are trying to stop some DC from working in Sablugu. And we are all there. National security is concerned about that. Everybody. And these things happen at the blind side of everybody. We wake up in the morning and it is either some Kandahar boys or something boys or something boys somewhere, and everybody is up in arms. Hey, let's solve the problem. Why is there insecurity? The real insecurity we have is these ones. Because you see, look at the kind of guy we are dealing with. Who knows he's also been bringing some of the victims to Ghana?
Or could even perpetrate the act here.
Oh, yeah, you never know. But we don't seem to care. Every day, you can count the number of vehicles that come from Nigeria.
They now operate here with the
Yeah,
numbers.
with
Now
the
it's
number. I mean,
invoked.
it's in vogue. I mean,
Now it's
real. I mean,
it's a novel.
and sometimes I ask myself
It's
questions.
invoked.
And the attitude, Roland, sometimes in your own country, they run over you if you don't want, if you are not one of those who want to stand up to your rights, you know, they will cower you into submission. They are buying us off like nobody's business. You remember recently, was it at Taifa or something, some gunshot issue where some Nigerian is perpetrated to be collecting somebody's girlfriend and all sorts of things. And what happens? You go to a police station and it's settled across the counter.
Because they have the money.
Because they have the money. Now the strategy is come, bring in a few dollars, marry a Ghanaian girl, bingo. You are settled in. And yet, national security apparatus are looking on, unconcerned. Tax authorities, they will come after you, Ghanaian. Maybe because you are running some small business and you cannot pay. They will close down your business. But they don't care about the foreigner who is here and taking the money out of the jurisdiction, creating a problem for the economy. I think it's high time we all open our eyes very, 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 very wide. And look, I always say that as politicians, I think I've had that discussion with you on the Blind Side program. If any politician sitting somewhere thinks that business as usual, we should allow these things to go, when the axe falls, it will fall on all of us. And I was very impressed this morning with President Kufuor when he was talking to the German about youth unemployment and the potential insecurity that it poses. If we can create employment for our youth, we must resolve some of these things. We must pay attention to some of these things. The opportunities that are there for our youth to develop must not be given away. Even our institutions of higher learning have succumbed to this kind of thing. So you go to every university now, the Nigerian students have taken over because they can pay. I mean, what is this? Roland, we are in trouble. And the earlier we begin to pay attention to this, and I'm happy that Okujeto Ablakwa, our ranking member of Foreign Affairs, is asking that more this issue should be interrogated. But this is only a snippet of what it is, and we must go for the global picture and begin to tighten the noose.
My first concern when I said I read this was, we have a number of our friends from the West African sub-region who have genuine businesses too, but also have properties around. What if something is perpetrated, maybe you people are in political leadership, and they could do the timing at the time when ESB is paid, then they know that you are, and you never know. They are in hotel lobbies, they have access to whatever because they have a clout, they dress well, they present themselves adequately. Shouldn't we be afraid that issues of kidnappings and such nefarious activities could also cripple into our country?
Yeah, Roland, it's been a while meeting you.
Yes, I know that you've been busy.
Greetings to your cherished viewers, the president of the land, and indeed our leadership.
Today you've not been vociferous with the president, Nado Danko, the way you used to say it. But you seem to have toned down.
Well.
You need some tea?
He has achieved his aim. He is president already.
Yeah, we want.
So now he doesn't want to shout.
We wanted Nana to be president, and thanks to God and the people of Ghana, the dream has come true. Let me transgress a little bit. Allow me, just beg you. You know, we have another history on our hands. Yesterday, the 25th member of the Council of State was sworn into office, and that's the new CJ, Justice Sophia Akufu. Congratulations to her. Justice, retired CJ, Justice Georgina Wood. Yeah, congratulations to her. She has made yet another history, having been the first woman to ascend to the throne, and having been the first to have worked under 4 different presidents for 10 years span. And then finally, 22 years, we've never had a retired CJ on the Council of State. The law, the constitution so reserves a seat for. But the last time we had was Justice Philip Archer, yeah, who died along the line. And Justice Saban and Justice Redu and then Justice Aqua were
Died in
unable
office,
to fill that capacity because of termination of their life. But for now, we thank God. 22 years on, we have the full complement of the Council of State with Madame Georgina Wood ascending to that seat. The president was elated, and you cannot fault him, you know. All Ghanaians must be happy. And it's a credit to our womenhood, what women of substance can do. So our young ladies coming up should have her as a role model, and then we look on up to. Yeah, to the main issue, my colleague has dealt with it deeply. However, there are a lot more to be added to. We're talking about ECOWAS, the economic zone that we feature so much in there. And so the movement of goods and services and people on paper is supposed to be, even though regulated, but quite a bit elapsed. And we can see how genuine commuters, how genuine businesses do suffer along our borders, particularly traders wanting to go to Nigeria, Togo, and elsewhere, how they suffer. However, those with covered and underground dealings seem to have failed it. What has gone wrong, or what is it that we are not doing right? Is it our immigration laws have been so relaxed? Our regulatory bodies have been so relaxed on some of these things. A kidnapper is a criminal. Kidnapping is a crime, you know, and the laws are there to deal with it. And so we talk about cross-border crime, proliferation of small arms and all kinds of things, nefarious activities, including armed robbery. It has been internationalized, I mean, within our sub-region. And so the security apparatus needs to be up and doing at this point. UOCO and all other security investigative agencies have the mandate to deal with this high-powered cybercrime or other white-collar crimes that goes on, including this very, very dangerous phenomenon of kidnapping. So from all along to Nigeria, he's here, domicile. You see him as one of us. With our usual hospitality, I mean, it's traditional, the Ghanaian traditional hospitality. Everything is elapsed and everything people find comfort in here, with a view that we can coexist as neighbors within the ECOWAS zone. So if people take advantage of our hospitality and leniency to walk over our laws and to perpetuate crime, not against themselves alone, but against we the host, as a host nation, then we need a lot to be desired of. We need to look at it critically. Having said that, we do also have some citizens out there who are engaged in some of these atrocious things. There's a Ghanaian who has been arrested in the U.S.
Yes.
Yes.
For pronouncing terrorist
kinds of things. So
threatening the girlfriend that will blow up and bomb and all that.
And
even in the UK, I think just early part of this year, there was this woman has amassed wealth over £1 million illegally.
You see,
in the UK.
And we have reports that
had even married an Irish before and all that. And she was rich. She lives ordinary, but is very rich. She has one of her apartments is furnished like that of a prince. But you see it's also
yeah, you see some of these things. So the sophistication of standard of living nowadays have given room for all kinds of things happening, and in those jurisdictions they will find a way to detect and then to arrest you. I do not know, I haven't read fully how this guy was accosted, But I know
he was arrested in Nigeria.
he was arrested in Nigeria,
Yes.
not here.
No.
Oh,
He was
okay.
arrested in Nigeria.
Okay,
Only
but
that they had a West African conference, I think security conference.
yes,
And then the Nigerian IGP disclosed this that information sharing between the intelligence community and the police community was important.
yeah,
Because they in Nigeria know that our system has been infiltrated. And then give an example of this man, that there are a lot more people that we need to take a critical look at.
yes, yes, and so it's very, very important. And you remember the run up to 2016 elections, there was this white man who was also accosted from here. He's been charged.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had been a drug dealer in the UK, had married
a Ghanaian woman.
No, the daughter of the former Bank of Ghana.
Yeah,
you know, that was a prominent case.
A Ghanaian woman.
Okay, a Ghanaian woman.
A Ghanaian woman.
I mean, that's sorry.
Just as my colleague enumerated. So we need to up our game, and then we, the citizenry, we have a role to play. We need to volunteer information to the security agencies so they will be able to work on some of these things. Other than that, we sit on a time bomb. You do everything, and these activities erode the economic gains. One, two, it puts our people out there. The vulnerability is so high. People out there, particularly with the youth, the enticement of money, trying to recruit them into these kinds of activities. And then, just former president said, my brother has reiterated, that unless we find a way to create jobs, job openings, employment opportunities for our teeming youth, not only being teeming, but with high level of education, with qualified minds, even though those who haven't had the opportunity to go through the tertiary or whatever institutions, they are as smart as anything with the technical know-how and the vocational intuition that they have. We are producing a stock of youth that are so exuberant, are full of energy, full of mind, and wanting something to do. In the absence of legitimate employment and work, obviously, people's mind may be turning to some of these things, and they may be tempted to be recruited into gangsterisms and all kinds of activities that will not augur well for us. So security is of paramountcy, and I know before this IGP would have come out, I mean the Nigerian IGP, our own, our able IGP and his cream of officers do have these interactions and all that. Okay. Interpol is at play. Interpol is working, and I know they are working very hard. So we need to support the security agencies by way of information, by way of helping to uncover some of these night activities and all that.
All right, George Lowe, let's move on to the next subject of the NDC. Now, apparently, the report is already out under discussion, and the Daily Guide has on the front page, NDC slaps Mahama over defeat. The report discloses that he is to blame, partly for the defeat as well. There were so many issues with it, and he gave an interview to a radio station in Accra. A lot of things in your report. What would you say?
Roland, I'm laughing.
At the headline?
Everything. I'm laughing because
at the report.
I am amused at the fact that people are deciding to tickle themselves.
And laugh?
And laugh.
Which people?
Roland.
I mean the outsiders.
Roland, very clearly, the National Executive Committee of the National Democratic Congress, or the party, as I want to simply call it, commissioned a 13-member committee to do a fact-finding exercise. They completed their work. They gave us snippets in terms of, as part of the executive summary, in an 8-pointer that Dr. Botwe presented in the full glare of the media. The real document, which is the full report, has been submitted to the chairman of the party. For some interrogation so that the party will read the report and take decisions that will inure to the benefit of the party. From where I sit, I can assure you that I am not a member of the committee, but I'm close enough to know how things have been done. And I can assure you that anybody who purports to be quoting from the report is deceiving his or herself.
Really?
Apart from the 8 pointers that have been put out there, nothing I've read so far, either on social media,
it's close to,
or this close to. And if you read this particular story, this is immoral journalism, and this is hypocritical journalism. This is read the story and tell me where they've quoted one thing from the report. In actual fact, what Dr. Botre purports to have said in the so-called interview that they were allowing is that the report didn't say what they have put there as their headline. So what kind of journalism is this? Roland, thankfully, you and I, we are trained journalists.
Are you sure? Yes.
We are trained journalists.
I know we're trained media people.
Yes, we are trained. I'm not. Yes, we are trained journalists.
But
and this kind of thing does not do us any good as
maybe it doesn't do your party good, but listen to me, George. I know that there's a quote here. To be honest, some party supporters we spoke to, and the professor was speaking to a radio station in Accra, and I'm sure it's basically based on that interview. Some party supporters we spoke to said that the former president didn't handle things well. Some laid the blame on constituency executives. Others said there were no jobs in the country. Some talked about the cancellation of nursing trainees and allowances.
Well, read the first set of the quotes there. The real quotes from the radio interview.
That was a trouble. There were so many issues, but I can't stand here and say that when we toured the country, all we could hear was that the ex-president was the main reason for the NDC's defeat, and therefore he should not be
and then read the headline.
But
no, read the headline, Roland.
Listen to me. He said all.
Roland, so I am saying that read the headline.
All. Say all. It says NDC's last Mahama over defeat.
So why like the signing?
But the supporters are saying that
you see, please, Roland. No, let's get serious. Let's get serious with this.
You mean the supporters should get serious?
No, let's get serious.
Or we those discussing some of these issues?
I'm talking about the newspaper. You see, clearly, Professor Botre didn't say that the NDC has slammed John Mahama for their defeat. And the quotes that they put there, the other one that you were reading was paraphrasing. So they were putting words into Professor Botre's mouth. Like I said, look, Roland, we all have been to. I have been to media school, and they didn't teach any media person in this one. Okay, so we should stop this kind of thing. It will not help anybody. It will not help the NPP. It will not even help those in the NDC
who are advocating some of
who are dreaming some of these things. Look, we have an election to win in 2020. My expectation is that we should take a look at the report as a party, glean the fine points that they put out there, the fine strategies that they recommend, and let's see how best we can do it. But this kind of thing, well, with the daily guide, I am not worried. We know the stable from which they come, and so we don't expect.
You mean it's a pro-MPP paper?
It belongs to the MPP chairman, not just a pro-MPP. It belongs to the MPP chairman. Secondly, before the committee even came to announce that they had finished their job, you remember that they were saying people were predicting when they were going to put up their report. When they hadn't even started writing their people had already written their recommendation, they in their comfort of their homes, because that is what they wish for, the NDC. They think that the report should engender some confusion within the rank and file of the party. Fortunately, they will be disappointed. The NDC would study this report,
put its house in order,
and
win 2020.
Emphatically.
Are you going to be a presidential candidate?
I am not debarred from standing as presidential candidate.
All right.
But I will not sit here and say yes or no. The important thing is that we will have a party strong enough to carry anybody who the people agree should lead them. So please, everybody should disregard all the things that are running around and all the things that people are saying about this report. They are not in the report. It's a figment of people's imagination.
Chairman Kokofu, do you think the NDC is in a state of denial. Perhaps maybe, they're still trying to warm up to the idea that the election is lost and 2020 is far away.
I'm surprised this morning. I'm shocked, indeed, that Daily Guide as a newspaper should stand accused this
No,
morning.
he hasn't accused Daily Guide.
Oh, he says they are undertaking what kind of
In fact, you want me to use the word now?
yes, use
What
the
they are
word.
doing is gutter journalism.
Fine, another one. And then you use you use earlier one. You use words on the newspaper. You see, the truth is simple. Before Professor Kwasibuchi and his committee was set up, the former president Mahama himself has come out openly to say, I am blamable for the defeat. That's one aspect. We had key figures like former President J.J. Rawlings coming out openly to say that the president and his cohorts contributed massively to the defeat. That's another point. And countless callings here and there, particularly from my backyard Ashanti region. You have Yama Ponko and Co and others accusing the president's appointees of being arrogant, of being this, of being that, and of being that, culminating into this huge defeat. The president himself at Cape Coast, in the heat of the campaign, had said that he is not going to restore the teacher trainee and then the nursing trainee allowance, even if that will cost him the elections. And true to his word, he did not. And it has cost you the elections. So who are you to blame then? The report, whether they make it public or not, it is as transparent as anything. You know, it is under X-ray. For me, I do not see why they should make fetish of this report, whilst the people you went out there to interview, their views are open already. They are in the open already. On radio, on your encounter, the people the committee encountered. So for me, I do not. The more they try to keep on to this. How many pages?
55.
455 pages, and I don't know the how many professors are going to read this document and all that, and how many days the executive committee, the chairman and co are going to be able to.
But it's for their internal
Don't worry,
consumption,
don't
it's
worry.
for-
We have the men who read and understand. Don't worry.
No, you see,
Don't worry.
you see. Now it is with NDC, so it's an internal thing.
Yeah.
When it is MPP, it is a public entity. It's a so everybody can feed into. The spotlight is on you. NDC is a political party that had been in government. Indeed, they have been in government since 1992, more than any other political party. And they are the leading opposition, and we need them to be as strong as anything so they can continue to be in opposition and then continue to help shape the democratic and the governance systems. So we didn't want them to go astray. We didn't want them to dissipate. We, as brothers and sisters, we wish them well. So if they have such a big problem on their hands, at first we were told that President Mahama is presiding over a very united house, and that voting for Nana Akufo-Addo would amount bringing a leader who cannot unite his own family. The chicken has come home to roost. Now we are all witnesses of the serious internal wranglings that was going on. It's open. I will advise them, this is a free consultancy. They should make the document public. That will
so that you can fist on it.
No. One, it will eliminate speculations. Two, it will eliminate distortions. Three, people putting interpretation on some of the phrases and the statements would have, we have purposeful interpretation. So we can all interrogate and then see clearly. In fact, we in power as a political party, we also need to know where our brothers went wrong, where things did not do I mean, they did not do things right. So we can factor into our own systems and runnings. On the surface, we know arrogancy situations, we know all that. But the report would have confirmed most of the things that people are dreaming of or thinking of. So I would have loved that in a more humble manner, NDC and its operatives, activists like senior colleague here, will accept things in good faith and then listen to the grassroots, listen to what really there is. And then coming up, you've been asked to go around to assuage the pain of your supporters by trying to unite them at the grassroots. That's not a bad idea. It's a good recommendations. Do that, and then spare some of us, including delegate, of complexities in your own problems. We did not create them for you. You created them yourself.
Well, Roland, is it not interesting? I think that Honorable Kukufu has said many things. I'm not going to disagree with him. Yes, many of these things that he said were people's opinions that they expressed, even prior to the report coming and things like that. Roland, my beef this morning is that you do not write something, a figment of your own imagination, okay, or you don't write something that you collected from different, and then say that it is from the Kwesi Botwe report, or that Professor Kwesi Botwe committee brought that out.
But the report,
that is dishonesty.
Judge, by the report.
I'm saying that is dishonesty.
Okay, true.
So that is all I'm trying to say.
Judge,
that whatever it is,
so you are accusing delegate of
they are being dishonest.
But you want to read.
Judge, how important is the findings or other findings of the Kwesi Botwe report to making sure we bring the needed reformations in the NDC? Knowing that there was a press conference that was convened, certain pointers were said, for which would lead to sanitizing and also streamlining issues within the NDC going forward towards 2020.
It's a crucial working document that we are grateful for, and we want to thank Professor Botwe and his team for producing a 455. It's no mean an achievement. It's not a small job. So for us in the NDC, yes, it's helpful. We will interrogate each and every paragraph of that, and all the things that we believe will inure to the benefit of our campaign 2020. We will take steps, to operationalize them. I think that is a wonderful document that they brought in. Even the 8 pointers alone, are key things that we need to pay attention to, because some of them are things that people have said, we ourselves have identified going forward. So we are happy that some of the things that many people have said in the party is being confirmed. New things are done. There are many other strategies that are in the report itself that we need to adopt. And so we are happy that we have a working document. There may be other things that have been identified that are not necessarily in the document. We'll do all that. We'll bring on board every useful suggestion or decision that will help us strengthen our party, reorganize our party, make it more attractive to certain segments of people that we think we have lost along the way. And I mean, we will be the better for it. And this is something that I believe, having monitored opinions across the length and breadth of the country, I am confident that we are all united, in the reorganization and rebuilding of our party. Carrying on, and we are doing a proper introspection and a proper, what we call the Sankofa theory. Now, the Sankofa theory, I know you've made your face like this because you think that I'm going in a certain direction. I'll disappoint you. See, the proper Sankofa philosophy is that, the Sankofa bird, when it is in flight, it's looking back and yet it's moving on. So we are looking back at our party. We are picking all the
Who came up with the theory? Is it something?
No, it's philosophy. It's African philosophical theory. It's not my creation. It's an African philosophical theory where the Sankofa bird is in motion, but it is looking back. So we are taking all the good things of our past with us, and then we are moving forward and adopting the new things that are
You
that
speak
conform
like
to,
a national chairman.
no conform
Anyway.
conform with contemporary times, and we are moving on. And I think that the report also
There was a
makes that
critical
point.
aspect. I'll bring you in. There's a critical aspect of the pointers and also the submissions that were made by Professor Kwesi Botwe. That if you look at the demographic of our population, it seemed to have changed, but the NDC didn't seem to have done the recognition adequately within the period of the electioneering, and more so, a lot of intellectuals were crowded out. We're told. Well, I could be paraphrasing. I mean, that's how I understand. What would you say to that if you have to reconcile how truthful that is, and then what actions need to be taken to make sure that those things are ironed out?
Well, two things. First, I agree entirely with that suggestion that we should have paid more attention to our demographics, and it's something I personally have said over and over and over again. You see, we are a mass party, but coming from the revolution and coming from our past, we held on to this thing that our main support were in the hinterlands. But because of urbanization and all these things, you would find that most of the young people have moved to the cities. Maybe we should have paid an extra attention, a lot more attention to the issues that were city-based. So you find out that most of our programs were in the hinterlands. But then the beneficiaries some had migrated.
They've done a transition.
A transition. So it didn't.
Peri-urban, semi-urban.
Yeah, and then there are many other things that we thought was long term, but we probably should have brought them mid-term in relation to youth issues. So really, maybe we should take a look at that, and I'm happy that the committee itself.
I heard your relationship with the media too was not one of.
Well,
yeah, it was pointed out by the committee.
Well, the point
it's
is
in
this.
the 455
Wait a minute.
document.
The point is this. We have always said that when it comes, because media ownership in this country is the way it is, we do not have as many media that is pro our party as it should be. We are working on it. We will improve upon it, and we are confident that very soon, whatever little challenges we have on the media front will be ironed out. We are making steady progress towards that. Now, with the intellectual bit, I think that the context should be understood. There are a lot of intellectuals that came on board, and I can give you, Professor Botwe is no mean an intellectual. Professor Atuahoy, we have a lot of them. I can keep mentioning names till tomorrow morning who were part of it. But we also realize that there are many more intellectuals out there that will be helpful if we got them in the mainstream. We have a lot of party sympathizers who are in academia, who are in other research institutes and things like that. But maybe we didn't mainstream them. So yes, they sympathize with that once in a while, they contribute their quota. But we are of the view that maybe we should mainstream them. So there should be a call, or programs that will bring a lot more on board. Because you see, we say that what one person can do, 10 people may be able to do it better. So that is all that the committee wants to say, that let's pay a little more attention to our friends, our supporters in academia. Some may be too busy. If you don't approach them, they may not come on board. So this time we should have programs which deliberately would draw many more people, in academia. So because we had a lot of, our director of research is a lecturer at the university. He was a lecturer at the University of Ghana. We had many other.
Who's your director?
Dr. Haji. A great
is it the
research.
Dr. NIA?
Yeah. So really, like I keep saying, we have a lot of intellectuals on board, but there are many more. So maybe what we should be doing is thinking about probably creating even an intellectual wing of the party. It's a suggestion I am making, but the party may decide to do that, so that they will have their own converging points and brainstorm.
Are you trying to be a national officer of the party? Because the way you're speaking.
Roland, I'm a member of the party.
Okay. So
and wait, I'm a member of the party, and I have a right to contest any position in the party. So don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah, you see, if you listen to former President J.J. Rawlings, he seemed to have a clue as to what was happening and what really happened.
And said
Nobody
listened.
Nobody listened.
Okay.
And I get baffled when my colleagues in NDC decide to go shopping looking for all kinds of reasons and all others. Whilst you have them in front of you. The man said, you departed from your core values, accountability and probity, one that brought you, one that you came out of. You departed from. 2, you departed from your core supporting base. You neglected the grassroots. And that arrogance, greediness, and all kinds of things that were displayed openly by government appointees and those around the president was inimical to your forward march. These are things that are practical. They are things that are really out there. You need not be a Harvard professor to know these things. You need not be a Legon grad to know these things. The ordinary man on the streets, as an NDC sympathizer or member, do know your serial callers on countless occasions, consistently and persistently on radio programs and TV programs, poured out these things. You refused to listen. You lost on all fronts. The demographics, you neglected the Ghanaian woman, the much touted constituency. I mean, they are more than men, isn't it? Good. Your youth were nowhere to be found. At the point in time, you did not know who your national youth organizer was, even.
I think I know it's Sadiq or somebody like that. Oh, what's his name?
Then there was all kinds of.
I'm wondering where he didn't know.
No, it means that you couldn't place him in the political
Yes, of course.
Who said so?
What did you say?
Who said so?
What did you say?
When our commander, Samuel Uku, was ably leading the youth of this country, mobilizing them, making sure.
You mean was leading the youth of your party?
Indeed, he took over the youth of this country, including most NDC sympathizers' youth. I mean, he got attracted to them. And so we had a huge constituency with the youth wing. With the intellectuals, yes, of course, you have a lot of intellectuals, but you decided to do things the way you wanted to do. You did not even have a coalition team. You did not collate the results. But did you?
I think but according to the report, they need to have a better coalition system. And then it needs to be at the party headquarters.
So they did not have good enough coalition system.
Yeah.
They did not have good enough coalition systems. Yes.
George knows you. I know you won't admit, but
oh, you should admit. I mean,
whatever systems you had, there is nothing wrong if you are being asked to improve them. So I will not fight him on those.
So you didn't have a credible one that could match up to your
whatever it is. We are being suggested that we should improve what we have, and we will improve what we have.
So it amounted to 2 things. Maybe you did not need any coalition, proper coalition, because
you have the experts.
Some figures might have been cooked somewhere else and could have been just imported in or something of the sort. That's my thinking. It's my and I have the right to my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So maybe that explains why they did not bother themselves putting up the coalition. Other than that, a serious political party.
You mean they were thinking that it was already won?
Yes, that is what they were saying. Okay. It was a done deal. Now here we are. You see, we're doing all these interrogations not to slam NDC as a party, but for my political party also and other political parties, this is a lesson for us to learn. We need to learn from whatever mistakes that might have gone on. That is why, even though we are in government, we won. Our general secretary and the party hierarchy had to put up a 16-member committee to go round the constituencies, the polling stations, the regions, and everywhere to ascertain what really went on into the elections. We are not saying we won.
And how you won.
How we won.
So that it will be a joyful report.
No. Okay. No, there are going to be very, very critical comments coming out there. People feel peeved at certain levels. People thought things were not done the way they would have wanted. It might be their own thinking. But then collating all those things will help into putting things right in the next time round. We are not leaving the soul searching. We are not leaving the round going wanting to know, collating views here and there to end this year alone. We will soon also provide our own report, and we will be magnanimous enough to make the report public.
Report compilation.
Yes.
It's now become.
Is it not ironic?
We will be.
Honorable Gogofu sit here and say that we don't need a Botwe report.
No, I do not.
And yet they are going around.
No.
Doing what we.
No, he's not saying.
No.
Listen, I wish you could play.
No,
he said that
me.
we did not need a Botwe
that
report, and that everybody knew.
He said he didn't need it to say. He didn't say that the report was not important.
No. But that is what he meant.
He said you didn't need it for. Nobody needed a report to tell that.
So why are they? Then they should have known. They should have known. They should have also known why they won, and they don't need a report.
Maybe let me.
They also.
I think you're arguing on the surface.
No.
Yeah. Maybe let me put it. Let me put it somehow. You see, it would have been very shocking and very, very, very surprising if Professor Kosiboche's report varied substantially from the views that have been going on publicly.
You mean
particularly from
the general notion?
Yes, particularly from former President John.
But why do we do research?
This
research is to confirm.
So it is confirmed.
We are saying that.
So it's confirmed.
We sent people around to go and ascertain.
It's confirmed.
That is why it has come.
It's confirmed. That is why you do not have to slam.
I'm saying that why are you
slam delegate?
I'm saying delegate publish a falsehood.
Fine.
That is why I'm
what is so different from what has been
He seems so worked out and incensed.
No, I mean, why do you continue to lie to me?
Like the delegate is one of my best newspapers.
Yeah. Don't worry. That is your choice.
And let me put more light on our strategy. We won the elections, and we won massively, and it's on record that this kind of victory has never happened.
Is it not true? Please, 1996, go and check the results.
Okay.
We beat you. Yes, we had 56 over 56%.
Okay, thank you.
This one is 54%.
Yes, so
okay.
I mean, so that thing must be raised.
Okay,
between the NDC and the NPP. The NPP is the one that has suffered the most humiliating defeat in the history of the Republic. So
thank you.
Stop.
You are talking recent history.
Thank you.
What is recent? Why 96 and 2017? What is not recent
20.
about it?
So you finished. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. However, you are bemoaning. You are suffering. You are here and there.
Say it again.
Your party is on the brink of collapsing. We are helping you. We are trying to help you people.
Collapsing?
Yes, of course.
Collapsing? When we are even chasing you out already.
If you don't
when you can't even answer simple questions about 2.25 billion bonds and things like that. What I say?
If you don't take care,
don't deceive yourself, my brother.
By the time you finish interrogating this 450 page, we would have been in 2030.
2030.
Yes, of course, because this is a very
that's 2 terms in addition to 2020.
Yes, this is a very serious document, and everybody is going.
That's a whole generation.
And everybody is going to put his or her own interpretation to every single sentence.
We heard this after 2000. J. Spencer.
And
he said by the time we are through with you.
And this morning
we won the election, so we are not perceived by what you are talking about.
This morning I was monitoring a particular station, and there was this one of your senior members, Alhaji Sani from Kumasi, and he was like, the intellectuals. Yes, of course, because if you have Dr. Bawumia coming up with 170 questions, and you have our vice president, His Excellency.
Are you saying our vice president was not intellectual? He's lectured people.
And that was his beef.
He's even managed the Bank of Ghana.
And that was his beef.
Dr. Bawumia has not managed the Bank of Ghana before.
So that was his beef. He said Bawumia was your small boy when you were at the Bank of Ghana, and he puts up 170 questions out there, and you are unable to answer even one.
Roland, I don't understand this one. When somebody is baffing, when you are baffing, you are baffing. And a madman comes to take your towel and run away. Do you chase him?
Please tell it to your party man. I'm just informing you.
Today, the 170 questions that Bawumia is purported to have asked, and therefore is a magician. Why is he running to China with cap in arms?
Thank you.
Even taxation, he cannot streamline it.
Thank you. So
we are beginning to know that. We are going to know that Your people, all the things were substandard and cheap politics.
Thank you.
None has come to pass.
I have the floor now.
The lies can continue, but I'm saying that the people of Ghana have eyes. They are seeing what they are saying.
I am only volunteering information.
What is
I am telling you that one of your senior party members was asking these questions already.
Well, that is the.
So it is not coming from me.
I'm saying that on the ground, the practical thing is.
So now,
Dr. Baumia, we have all we've seen that he was lying. He was saying half-truths, and he was deceiving the public.
Thank you. So now we are in government. We have the mandate to deliver.
But the mandate didn't ask you to continue lying.
President Akufo-Addo and his government is on course to deliver onto our promise.
And you can't pay soldiers.
Yes, of course. You left nothing.
They didn't pay them when they must pay them.
When?
Now finally they
when? So what is it? So what
now
is
workers
it?
Cannot be paid.
You left the coffers empty.
Oh,
and we
today
had,
you know
please.
When you came
and we had to work with 3 months budget that was prepared by your government.
Another misinformation.
3 months budget that was prepared by your government.
We have to end the segment.
We started using our own budget only last April.
You are too great to learn from. You are my senior colleague. My colleague lawyer, we don't go on that.
Okay.
So now live with your problems.
The Supreme Court. The Supreme Court. What's the meaning? They said Supreme Court freezes Woyome's shares.
You said freezes. What is the
meaning? Just give me the
meaning. It's an order that has been directed that those shares must be, held on to.
Okay.
Basically, that is it. And then that I believe that he would have costs. You have to come and show costs. You know why those shares might not be sold to defray the cost of.
All right, I have to end the show, and thanks for joining me this morning. Henry Kwabena Kufu, former member of Parliament for Bantama, but also a legal practitioner, and thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
George Lowe, legal practitioner, former member of Parliament for North Dying, and he's been speaking on the 455-pager document compiled by the Kwesi Botwe-led committee, or partly public, right? It's partly public.
It's not public.
Okay, 8-pointer is public.
The 8-pointer is just an executive summary that they.
All right, so thank you, gentlemen, this morning.